Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of Sunday Night Live, your favorite automotive show where we talk about all the issues that affect the customer experience at your stores. Because the better the customer experience, the more they come back to you for everything they need when they need it. And one of the biggest struggles that we have today is technicians. I'm in and out of stores every week, sometimes multiple stores a day. And there's not a day or store that goes by that you don't walk into and they say, hey, I need more technicians. Can you help me? So everybody's in the same boat. And what's interesting about that is that nobody's really doing much about it. They're spending lots of money monthly, every month on retainer for some of these sites to have people come through the door, if they even show up, that don't end up working out. Literally thousands they spend every month to get not the Glengarry leads, if you know the reference. So I have a strategic partnership with TechForce.org or TechForce Foundation. Man, what an incredible organization that is. It is right in my wheelhouse because it's automotive and it's helping the business that we are in and that we love. 30,000 plus is the community of technicians in TechForce. And by getting involved with this organization, a lot of good things can come your way. So welcome to the show, everyone. Steve, Jen, please introduce yourselves to our audience for those that may not know you.
Great. Paul, thanks for having us this evening. We really appreciate it. And that intro got me really pumped up for the conversation. I'll get us started and then I'll hand it over to Steve. I'm Jen Bergeron and I'm Chief Growth Officer with TechForce Foundation. Been with the organization not quite a year, but very familiar with the technician shortage challenge that we're facing and have been involved for over 20 years in trying to solve this challenge. Particularly worked in the automotive technology side of things in a post-secondary institution. So worked to provide aspiring technicians a high quality experience and education to make them workforce ready for dealerships like the folks that are joining this call. So to me, there's really sort of two distinctly and equally important opportunities when we think about TechForce, and I'll just sort of tee us up with this and then let Steve introduce himself. One is we want to work to solve the workforce shortage. We know there's growing demand. We know we've made a dent, but there's still significant work to be done. And TechForce, as a 501c3, is a charity that works to champion students to and through education and into careers as a professional technician across all mobility, all transportation trades. So specifically, we're talking about automotive, diesel, collision, those spaces today. So that's the one problem that we're trying to solve together. The second is we want students to find a career and an education that fits. Not everyone is wired the same. And there are many students who like to take things apart, put things together, work with their hands. And we want to champion those students and show them the great careers that would be a good fit for them. So those are really, for me, the two big motivators of the work that I have done over 25 years and really the work that TechForce Foundation is charged with doing every day. And we're able to do that because people like Steve so generously volunteer and champion our message and our mission in their local community. So I'll turn it over to Steve for his introduction. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Jen. Evening, Paul. Evening, audience. So I started a 4-year college degree, technical degree, went into the Air Force 12 years, flew fighter jets, got out, and I'm now working for a defense company. And was first introduced to TechForce probably about 3-4 years ago, and their mission seemed to resonate with me. So it seemed to be that there's a need for technicians, a need. And even though I'm not part of the industry, it's something that is near and dear to me because My second job I have is I'm on the local school board. So I'm on an elementary school board, been there since 2006. And we've always emphasized, the 4-year degree, you need to get your college degree and go on. And, we're realizing, hopefully not too late, that, hey, 2-year, it's now no longer a VOTEC. It's more of a highly skilled technical degree, a 2-year to get, to go into these industries, because there is a gap. And that is my passion on the board, is to push, CTE, career technical education. So I've been taking the TechForce mission. I've done roadshows. I've taken material and gone to different school districts, not only my own up in the Mojave Desert, but also, try to spread my wings in Southern California. I volunteer for local events. And, the Jennifer Meijer, who's the CEO, says, hey, does he want to be an ambassador? It's like, well, that's sort of like, to me, like an unpaid, uncompensated spokesperson for TechForce. Yeah. So I'm enjoying it. I've been to SEMA. My basic goal is to spread the mission, because I think it's a small but mighty organization nationwide. Unfortunately, not as well known as it should be, and hopefully we'll get more people to join. Not only me as an enthusiast, but parents, students, technicians, school staff to join and further the mission of TechForce.
Well, thank you. I'm not sure why it isn't more widely known, because I can think of 4 million reasons this year why people would want to know and be associated with TechForce. But hold on one second. I just want to acknowledge we got my good friend Larry Feldman says, good evening. He's in Pennsylvania. And Robert Allen Carvel. Hello, everyone from Hotlanta. Can you hire from TechForce?
Mm-hmm.
That's
great.
Through the association, correct? By joining?
Yes. So there's a couple of ways that businesses can post jobs within TechForce. So the TechForce community, as Paul mentioned previously, currently includes 30,000 aspiring technicians and working technicians in the system that are actively connected to our network. Within our network, corporate partners and TechForce champions, and I'll tell you what those are in a minute, have the opportunity to post jobs directly in that network for the aspiring technicians and working technicians to access and pursue if interested. So you absolutely can. Unlike other job platforms, being a part of TechForce for a small business, which is under 10 million in annual revenue, that is, $1,000 a year for small businesses to become TechForce champions, connect with us, post jobs, and take full advantage of having a presence in our network and in front of that audience. And then bigger corporations certainly can work with TechForce Foundation to establish a more formal corporate partnership for those folks that are big and have more stores and revenues that exceed what I just explained. So yes, absolutely. That's one of the huge benefits for dealerships, is that they can come in and post as many jobs as are available in their places of business, and keep them up until they're full, or keep them up if you always have one open and there's an evergreen. We know that that's a huge need for you as you're looking to find and attract top talent.
So it's $1,000 a year, which is not a lot. Because Paul, you mentioned something about posting on Indeed. You want to mention that previous?
Absolutely. There's a lot of dealerships that spend anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 a month every month on places like Indeed and some of these other sites. And from what I'm hearing in conversations is that they're not necessarily bearing a lot of fruit. That's a lot of money to spend. I mean, you multiply that times 12 months, that's a crazy amount of money. $1,000. I was joking with them earlier, although
that's $1,000 a year
for the year. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. That's one fancy dinner in Quebec City. If a couple goes out, does the tasting menu and a nice bottle of bubbly, it's actually a little bit more than that. So to put it all into perspective, it's an incredible value, because What you're not doing is you're not chasing the person that's looking for the latest signing bonus. All right.
Mm-hmm.
What you're reaching is people that are coming into our business that are some of them are newer technicians, others are just technicians that have been out there. But it's a community, right? Where you get to interact with other people. There's leaderboards on different quizzes and things like that. There's so much. If there's time tonight, we'll walk through the platform as well. But yeah, it's almost free when you put it into perspective compared to what you spend on the others. We got Ron Usher says, good evening all, and Greg Dudley, what are your thoughts on creating a culture of professional career management?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Can you, Paul, elaborate?
Can you elaborate on that, Greg? A culture of professional career management. Now, the way I read it, that's like having the written career path. But maybe I'm not reading what Greg's putting down here.
So I guess for Greg, I can provide you some insight. I mean, in the network that TechForce provides for technicians. And again, I think what makes TechForce Foundation unique when you consider other job platforms is that we serve exclusively the workforce development and career exploration for the transportation trades, right? So for automotive technicians and the other industries. And so the content that is available is all very specific to that audience. So Paul mentioned leaderboard challenges, there's trivia, there's VIP events and student experiences that are available for people who are connected to TechForce. Everything that we think would continue to reinforce and build respect for their career path, their chosen career path. So inside of TechForce also, we do try to work on building professionalism and making available training and opportunities, mentors. We have corporate partners that are volunteers as well with TechForce, and they come to events where students will be attending, and they volunteer their time to engage and talk to students about the various paths they might take as they continue to pursue their career as a technician. So from a career management standpoint, I mean, that's how we try to educate tech students or high school students exploring the tech career. That's how we try to provide them a little bit of insight around what their options might be.
Is there guidance in like resumes and things like that as well, or no?
So there can be. I don't believe we have anything right now that really serves to help them write their resume. When they submit their information through the Career Hub, we do make it pretty straightforward and easy for them to sort of express their interest and connect with those open positions. So we try to make the connection between the business and the student as seamlessly as possible without unnecessary paperwork submission. So if they end up applying for the job, certainly we'll want to make sure that they've got a professional and well-prepared resume. But the initial connection is just to get those employers motivated and future technician candidates that they can start talking to.
Now, to that point, I'm going to bring up, let's see here. Let's see. I'm going to bring something up here. Share screen. Okay, so if you can see this, you'll see here, these are some of the jobs that are available, correct?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm trying to see where you are. Yep. Yes. So we just recently launched the job portal in the TechForce network, which is what Paul is showing you. So that is why you'll see a couple of our partners listed there, and others are getting their jobs in real time as we speak. So larger corporations can do a coordinated export and import into our system, so they don't have to do job by job. Smaller businesses can certainly access the job portal and enter their jobs as they become available.
So a dealer could essentially partner with TechForce and
Absolutely.
then be able to put their jobs in. You know, if you have a good opportunity, and let's face it, there are a lot of great opportunities in automotive. People are not opposed to moving across the country for an opportunity.
Right. And the beauty of these skills, they're portable. They can go from one state to another. So
Yeah.
and they're, you know, and there's opportunities to move up within the dealership because, you know, I read the, I'm big into data. So I read the California New Dealers Association report. In 2022, the average number of techs required on the floor is 4 at every dealership.
4.
That's quite a lot. 4 technicians. Yep.
Wow, that's got to take into account some small stores, man, because I walk into some behemoths that have dozens upon dozens upon dozens.
No, I mean, 4, you know, the vacancies are 4. They're looking for 4.
Oh, vacancies.
Oh, okay.
Vacancies. Sorry.
Okay.
Vacancies
Yeah,
are 4.
even more than that a lot of times. Wow.
Yeah, so the average is 4. So, you know, your 30-minute lube turns into, you know, a 3-week experience.
Right.
And so,
hold on a second. Let me get a couple of comments here. Let's see here. Greg Dudley says, a good connection says, if you own it, you will act on it. No joke. And Robert Allen Carvel, how is TechForce with remote areas, not big city areas?
Great. Thanks for the question, Robert. So I think Steve mentioned earlier, we are a national nonprofit, and we have hundreds of school partnerships across the country. We have partnerships with great organizations like Skills USA as well, and other corporate partners like Snap-on, and all of these folks, between all these organizations working together, we have a pretty significant reach into schools across the country. If there's an area that we're less involved with now, then we certainly can increase our presence and influence in those areas. So we impact remote areas as well as high density areas. And because a lot of our resources are available in the network, which Paul just showed you, whether you're in a big city or you're in a small town, you are still eligible to fully participate in the TechForce network and community and all of those digital and electronic resources. And Paul mentioned there's 4 million reasons why being involved with TechForce matters. We have over $4 million of scholarship and grant money available to aspiring technicians in 2024. And last year we had 2.3. So we are growing, and we really want to make a greater impact. And students, sometimes opportunities depend on geography, but oftentimes they don't. And so what Paul didn't show you, but is also available in the network, is there's a tab off to the left that says scholarships, and students can click on that. They can create a general application, and then that general application and the information in that will link them up to opportunities for which they're qualified for. So they don't have to scan hundreds. So over to the left, oh, there you are, you're in it. Yep. And then you would do apply for scholarships. And it takes you over to Academic Works, and you would complete that general application there. So it would serve up for students all the opportunities they're qualified for, so they know that they can go ahead and apply, versus having to, again, review hundreds of applications and their criteria just to find out, oh, I'm not eligible. So we are excited. We've got some big donors this year who are really investing in growing the pipeline and helping these students to and through their education so that they'll be career ready. So we're good with remote. I guess is the short answer, because all of our resources are available online.
Yeah. The biggest thing I've noticed, I've talked to Ivy Percent, who actually oversees the scholarship, is the biggest thing is the students not applying for the scholarships. So it's not going to just fall in your lap. They need to apply for those scholarships. And TechForce has tried to make it very easy, and she does a very good job of, curating the application to see what scholarships they're eligible for. So you just have to apply.
That's something in life, actually, right? There's so many opportunities out there that, look, people don't know about some of these opportunities. And even when they know, how many people actually take advantage? In automotive right now, the used EV is a car that fits in the sweet spot of a payment. And while there are smaller numbers of those cars available, there's even lesser dealers out there seeking out those opportunities. So the ones that are proactive are the ones that are getting the lion's share of that inventory.
Because students can apply. It's nothing to, join the network. And actually qualified schools can join the network too. So
we got a couple of comments here. Greg Dudley says, how are you connecting with dealers that wouldn't otherwise be looking for you?
Right. So we are continuously connecting with dealers. We have one team member who works specifically with small businesses. If they're not connected to a larger corporation that we're already working directly with. And again, our school outreach leads us back to dealers in those communities as well. And so we know that dealerships who participate and engage with their local schools typically have even greater success recruiting technicians, for their respective businesses. So again, we're working with our corporate partners, and we're talking to them about geographies, priority geographies for them, and we're making sure that we have great contact with the schools and the dealerships in those areas. So we're just trying to get the word out to dealers that even smaller businesses, there's a place for you at TechForce. Again, we want those jobs and opportunities and your businesses to be represented so that students have options as they're moving through their education and making a decision about post-graduation employment. So again, we rely on our partners nationally and our schools to really help us connect with those local dealerships.
And these are some big companies too, right? I mean, these are giant companies: Snap-on, Bridgestone, and Valvoline. I think, and many others that are involved with this. Plus, there are a lot of ambassadors. Steve is one that carries on the mission of TechForce. And just so many people across the country that try to get the messaging out all the time, because it is something that it benefits so many people. I got a comment here from Ron Usher. He says, do you make the schools, local and technician, aware of TechForce for future techs? Yeah, that's part of what everybody does.
Absolutely.
Yep. Right. So right now we've got a team member, we're a charity. So we've got, limited staff members. We have who we need to really deliver on our mission, but we've had a team member here this past week who's been doing a little bit of a tour to some of our bigger schools in the post-secondary space to be certain they know about all the resources, again, from pipeline to career placement that are available through TechForce Foundation, because that 30,000 engaged aspiring technicians and working technicians, we want to add another 20,000 to that number this year. And we know the bigger the community, the more engagement we'll have with businesses, with corporations, and, the more resources that we'll have to help support these folks. So lots of school partnerships. There's leadership board challenges where schools are competing against one another in the network as well. I came from the post-secondary school space, and so that helps us some in really expanding our reach as well into some new schools and really deepening our relationships so that we're a household name in some of those big schools that really do a great job training tomorrow's technicians.
Right. So one of my priorities is, even though Jen talks about post-secondary, I try to go at the lower levels into the middle and elementary, because, by the time they're in high school, they've already made up their mind what they want to do. So,
yeah,
I was talking to my superintendent, says, we need to make a better case of pushing, the technical, the CTE portion down to like 5th, 6th graders, because I think that'll make the most impact. Because, the ones who are smart and maybe don't want to go to college, and it says, oh, this might be a worthwhile endeavor to pursue. So just to try to get that mindset. So my goal is
there are a lot of events that this summer coming up, they take the students to the racetracks. They get to be in the pits. There's a drift event coming up that I'm going to be attending in Englishtown, New Jersey. This is an event where young students get exposure to what's available in automotive.
Right, because the minimum age to join the network is 13. So you're talking middle school age.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in middle school, I never had an opportunity to go to the drag races. My parents never took me. It wasn't until after high school that I had my own car. My buddies and I, we would make the pilgrimage off to Englishtown, New Jersey, to go to the drag races. But here's an organization that takes young people and brings them to these events, SEMA, auto auctions, all kinds of automotive events to give them an opportunity to experience things that a lot of other people may not be able to. Let's see here. Robert Allen Carvel wants to know, does TechForce search by zip code?
I'm not sure. Search by, I'm not sure what you mean by searching, but we can search for in the network. You can do all sorts of different filters. You can search. So there's a school directory. You can search for schools by zip code, high school programs that have an automotive focus, and also post-secondary that have automotive focus. You can also search. There are filters for students as well. And then obviously, I think when you're in the job portal, you can certainly narrow things down by zip code. Any future technician can apply. Yes. So if you're talking about the network, techforce.org, joining the community, yes, anyone with an interest, either career exploration stage or already in school with a focus on becoming a professional technician, they're absolutely welcome. It's free. All the resources are free. They are absolutely welcome to join, as well as working technicians, as well as industry professionals. So you can get in there and join as well and experience.
Right, and as well as enthusiasts. I mean, I've joined the network. So, I mean, anyone can join. Parents can join. I mean, they don't join as a parent, they join as an enthusiast, but anybody could join.
And what's great about it is that, everybody's talking all the time about, well, the new jobs, it's all computer, you have to be a computer whiz. And yeah, it's true. There's a lot of computer work in cars today, but let's not forget there's a lot of mechanical repairs that still need doing. Struts and shocks need replacement.
Transmission fluid change, the whole
yeah. Window regulators, ball joints, alignments, all those kinds of things. And in the platform, there are videos that will take students or people that are interested in all of those. So essentially, if I'm a 13-year-old or a 15-year-old and I'm interested in auto mechanics, I could watch this whole library of different videos and learn how technologies work and learn how to actually do repairs, right? So that by the time I'm in a position where I'm able to get an apprenticeship at a dealership or a repair shop, I already know quite a few things about the repair. Now, if the dealership or the repair shop, if they then take that a step further and they train them in certain areas, I mean, those are great resources. You know, the way I always try to relate it is, you know, if you buy fruits and vegetables at Stop and Shop or you grow your own, which ones taste better, right? The ones you grow yourself. And these young people that we are bringing into the business, and TechForce with $4 million plus of scholarship money is helping them to get into our business. These are the type of people that certainly I would want, because you're starting them off on a positive note, right? You're giving them something that not everybody has access to. Lamont Harris, good evening all. Thank you, Paul, for being consistent. Thanks for sharing, Steve and Jen. Great work. Thank you, Lamont. Lamont is a service director on the West Coast. Believe it, a Mercedes store. And Ron Usher says, how about sponsorships on a race car? 40,000 people at an NHRA event.
Yes. So we have, Steve, and you may know this because you've got a little bit of tenure on me with TechForce, but we have done some race car sponsorships in the past for people.
I think IndyCar, we had a sponsorship on IndyCar.
Right. For someone who might want to provide that to TechForce, we would love the exposure, right? So we have done it before, and it is good for exposure.
Now, when somebody asked about searching by zip code, I don't think you're searching for a specific technician, right? You're able to offer employment. You can put help wanted ads, but it's not like a phone book where somebody's going to just dial for dollars and start calling technicians. Am I incorrect in that?
No, so the students have the control over the level of access employers have to their information. So if they, they can turn the functionality on and off in the system depending upon what they're looking for and how they want to be contacted. That is for them to control. So employers would post the jobs, right, and students can search for jobs on a number of different criteria, and zip code or location is certainly one of those.
Yeah, I'm on the job thing now. You can search with the state and then by city and with a certain radius of the city.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I always believe, and it seems to become more prevalent today, that you want to be of the mindset of what can I provide you? What can I give you? Because the more you give out, it seems the more you get back. Right? A good practice would be, and I share this with dealers, is, if everybody's hurting for technicians, there are plenty of tech schools and techforce.org. You can sign up for a free account to kind of explore and see what's going on there. And then I would encourage you to join at the corporate level, as little as $1,000 for an entire year, which is a crazy number. It's almost insignificant, that dollar amount. Okay. But I tell dealers all the time, partner with some of the schools that are in your area. Many of them are listed in the TechForce directory. Right. And go in not from the standpoint of, what can you help me with? Go in from the standpoint of, hey, I know schools are always struggling for monies. How can we help you? Okay. what is it that you're trying to instill in your students, and what is it that you want for them once they get out of school? How can we help you with your mission as a school? What do you need? Have a certain budget in mind. Do you need an alignment rack? Do you need a spray booth? Do you need a tool bin? I think there was a comment in here. There are more companies that sell tools than just Snap-on. Absolutely. Yeah. All of these companies can get involved.
Harbor Freight is one. Harbor Freight is a partner too.
Yep.
Yeah, so go in, find out what they need, and offer to help them with it, and then take it one step further. Hey, so now that you've got some tooling that's going to help you better educate the students, we'd like to help you even more. If you have 4, 6, 8, 10, however many students that need hands-on experience, we would love to institute an apprenticeship program at our dealership in conjunction with the school. So now, the same complaints everywhere. You guys and gals that are in shops, you hear this, you deal with it daily. You're having trouble getting cars through the shop because you don't have enough people. So when you have apprenticeships, these are the perfect people that can do the PDIs, that can do the oil changes, that can do the minor services, while your A and B technicians are concentrating on the larger jobs, maybe the warranty jobs that are inconveniencing customers, and focusing on the larger jobs that you need to still get through the shop in order to remain profitable as an organization. So it's literally a win-win for everybody, because let's face it, if you don't have any of these types of partnerships or associations, and I call your store and I ask how long is it going to take to get an oil change, if you tell me 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks, see ya. I'm not going to wait. But if you use some of the things that we're sharing here to everybody's benefit, now maybe you can get them in within a few days. It's literally win-win for everybody. What do we got here? Greg Dudley says the diagnostic and problem-solving competitions are fantastic. I participated in VICA back in the 80s. You just said your age, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And Greg, we agree. And that's why, we work with a number of different associations across industries to have a presence at their industry specific competitions. I mentioned Skills USA. We were also at the aeronautics maintenance competition a couple weeks ago in Chicago. And those aviation tech students were extremely impressive. We had some scholarships there that we administered and provided as well. So yeah, there's another one coming up that we're going to be a part of the U.S. Auto Tech National Championship as well, and I think it's in Florida. So I couldn't agree more. Those are really great opportunities to celebrate the tech students and the skills that they have learned and the skills that they're continuing to master as they progress to their career as a professional tech. Agreed.
Now, speaking of students and learning, there's some survey or something you alluded to earlier.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was trying to outline a couple of ways that folks on the call could connect with TechForce, and there are 2 or 3, but I'll mention that as number 1. We try to be thought leaders in the industry specific to addressing the workforce shortage. And one of the projects that is underway, soon to be launched, is going to be a voice of the technician research survey. So underwritten, again, this one was underwritten by Snap-on. And we're going to be looking for a couple of different groups. Young tech, the voice of the young technician. Again, we want to know from the tech students and then the working techs, the young working techs, we want to know their perspective around their experience. What is it? And we're going to ask the tough questions, right? That we want to know the answers to, because these are an audience that may not be motivated in the same way that perhaps you or I were motivated with our first professional job. And so we want to reveal this information and present it to industry so that we can be more successful attracting technicians into this space, and then certainly retaining them once we've gone through all that hard work of finding them and hiring them. Let's keep them around. And so this will be coming out in the near term. So I'll share that information with Paul. Maybe he can pop it up and make it available. But we're going to need our school partners. They'll be pushing it out so we can get the perspective of the tech student. And we are also going to need our dealerships and partners to be pushing it out to get that perspective of the young technician. And then certainly we'll compile those results, share the findings.
Now, what's really great about that is that, first of all, it's an independent survey, right? It's not coming from their employer.
Correct.
And it can be, and I believe it's anonymous unless they want to make themselves known, where they could potentially win something, right? So you have an opportunity as a young technician or as a younger technician to be able to, without any fear whatsoever, say exactly what's on your mind as to what's important to you. Because let's face it, when I started in this business, 45 years ago, the job of the technician was quite a bit different than it is now. So it's kind of a roadmap as to, they're telling you what they're looking for. So when you know what that information is, if you can create a culture or an environment within your store that addresses all those items, you're golden, because people are going to want to come there. I speak with people all the time. I practically live on LinkedIn. I'm always collaborating with different people in automotive because I want to know what's going on. And I had opportunity to have a conversation with someone the other day, and in looking over their stuff, I said, listen, what you have here, it might sound good to you, but I'm going to put the technician hat on because I speak to a lot of these people, right? And, the generic stuff no longer flies. The competitive salary and the 401 and all this other mumbo jumbo stuff that's put out there. Look, people have been made all kinds of promises, and all of the promises have not come to fruition. So now you need to spell out exactly what's the culture in your store, what's the opportunity, specifically what are you offering for pay, what are you offering for training, what does a career path look like, what do you expect from me, what do I expect from you in return, and how can I help you grow in this profession? That's the kind of stuff that you need. So the survey that Jen's talking about, that's golden.
Yeah, because retention rate is key. You want to retain those employees.
Yeah. And let's face it, the best job has not been done, because I think the stat is, 50% of the technicians that are coming into the business leave within 2 years? Is that still accurate? So this survey, I think, is going to, I hate the term game changer because it's kind of buzzwordish, but unfortunately it's kind of true. If you have this data, you could definitely set yourself apart from all the other people vying for the same talent pool. Got a couple of comments here. Robert Allen Carvel says the NHRA event is hosted by Mopar Express Lane, MCAP. We will be hosting those technicians coming into our industry. Lots of fun. Yeah, no, that's great stuff. I think I mentioned before, I'm going to be going to a drift event this summer where young students, TechForce and my partner, bring them to the racetrack to enjoy this. So I'm going to get a chance to talk to some of the young folks and kind of share some of my experience in automotive with them.
And Robert, once you join the TechForce community, techforce.org, and there's a join now, you will have the opportunity to post events as well. So if there's something going on, they don't all have to be VIP events. Obviously, for students where money might be tight, a VIP experience or a complimentary experience is very appealing. But you can post things that are going on anywhere in the country just so that students have visibility to that.
So like this event he's talking about here, he'd be able to post, share something like that?
Yep.
Well, that's great.
Right.
I share events all the time.
Yeah. So I think, Paul, just to sort of knock out a couple quick things, the survey is coming. We'll share that with you to participate. The second is to just connect with us. Join the network. It's free. Check it out. And then also we have a number of different, we're present on a number of different social media outlets. So connect with us on those because, again, a huge part of what we do is scholarships and grants and helping students through their education and make sure they persist and graduate. But we do a lot to promote these careers. And a lot of that happens on social media. And it's great content, and it's content you may want to share. We just finished our Grab the Wheel campaign, and that was focused on 13 to 24-year-olds. And again, celebrating their desire to work with their hands and find a career that fits, and recognizing that, the four-year university path is the right fit for many, but not all, because people are wired differently. And so we're just trying to normalize that. So connecting with us in the network and connecting with us on social is really important. I mentioned TechForce Champions. It's a good way for small businesses to get involved. You can find that on the website, or you can email me, jbergeron@techforce.org. And I can get you the information and we can explore. And that's what Steve and Paul were talking about, where you can post jobs and be a part of the community in a TechForce champion capacity. And that's the $1,000 a year thing. And then the last area we were going to talk about today, Paul, if now's a good time, or we can circle back to it. But
now's a good time.
Now's a good time. Okay. We just launched last week our annual fundraising campaign, and I think you'll all relate to the theme, which is Imagine a World Without Tax. And what we're trying to do is appeal to everyone to stop and take a minute to think about how their lives would change if this shortage of skilled technicians continues. If we lived in a world without tax, what would that look like in terms of stocked shelves, canceled flights, all of the issues that we would face? And so we know that people on this call already get it, right? You deal with the technician shortage every day, and it's alive and you feel it. But not everybody understands and appreciates the opportunity and the challenge ahead. And so this annual fundraising campaign is our attempt to really pull everyone into the mix around this conversation, and to really, again, build respect and importance and value in this type of work. So we are, I think we have about 10 days left or so. I can't do the math.
May 1st, right? May 1st, last day.
May 1st is the last day. So we're kind of appealing to everyone in a peer-to-peer capacity to say, one way you can support, of course, is become a TechForce champion. You can also choose to contribute to or join us in our annual fundraising campaign. TechForce.org will get you there. You could also text 2024 to 71777, and that'll pop up the page for you to contribute as well. So the annual fundraising campaign, this is an important part of our ability to continue to deliver on our mission. We've been around since 2007. So this is, we're not a new organization, but we are really in a growth phase right now, and we know we can do more. We had 7,000 applications from students and aspiring technicians in 2023. We were able to fulfill 1 out of 4 of those requests. So this annual campaign, we're saying to people, help us support the other 3 that did not receive funds because we only had enough to fund 1 out of every 4 applications.
So just a quick question. So what is it? Text 2024
Yes.
to what's the phone number?
To 71777.
71777?
Yes.
Okay.
Did it get you there?
Hold on a second.
Oh, there you go.
Technology,
You're a
huh?
real pro. That's awesome. Yeah, there you go.
Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Huh?
Great.
No,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome. So either that or go on techforce.org where you can contribute, right?
Yes.
We donate a lot of things. We
Yeah,
donate a lot of money.
Yep.
We donate a lot of money to a lot of different things, okay? I buy Girl Scout cookies all the time, probably more than $1,000 worth a year. And half of them I don't eat. Sometimes I'll just buy some boxes, and as I'm walking by, I'll hand them to somebody that I'm walking by, right? So we don't even think about what we donate to, right? But because we like to give.
Yeah.
TechForce helps us in our industry solve our problems, not just for us, but for everybody that relies on anything. Remember during the pandemic when you'd walk into the supermarket and the shelves were barren, stuff wasn't there because the trucks weren't making it? That's a world without techs. That's what we're talking about. So it impacts so much more than just us in the business or the people coming into our stores. It impacts everybody. So what was that guy, Soupy Sales, way back when? He said,
You're dating yourself again, Paul.
What's that?
You're dating yourself again.
I'm old. What can I tell you? But I have a 12-year-old, I have the fun level of a 12-year-old. So it's not that bad. I wanted to play something. I don't want to miss this. So let me just play this here.
The younger me, younger you.
Oh, the other one too. Welcome to TechForce.
Oh, yeah. But either one.
You know the difference between a camshaft and a crankshaft. You know that the McPherson strut is not a dance move. You get it. Others don't. There is finally a place for you, with millions of dollars in scholarships for you. VIP tickets to events like SEMA, Formula Drift, and Mecum auctions for you. Training, contests, and prizes for you. Apprenticeships and jobs for you. TechForce was built for techs like you. Here's what our friend Vaughn Gittin Jr. has to say about TechForce.
What's up, everyone? I'm world champion drifter and professional fun haver, Vaughn Gittin Jr. I'm reaching out to you today to let you guys know about TechForce, a new peer-to-peer effective network designed to give aspiring present and future technicians a place to show their stuff. Pretty cool, right? So make sure you head to techforce.org. Have fun. Wow!
Thanks, Vaughn. So check TechForce out, everyone. www.techforce.org or scan this QR code. Seriously? Have you scanned the QR code yet? It's right there. Come on. VIP events, scholarships, just check it out. Personalize it. Do it your way.
This is wicked. I mean, wicked stuff. But I wanted to read something here. It says here, TechForce will award $4 million in scholarships and grants in 2024. Our scholarship recipient retention rate is 88.7%. National average is 66.2%. Community colleges, 51.6%.
Because TechForce does whatever it can to keep the student in school. Because there's at need, depending on the school, there's also at need type of grants also.
Which goes beyond just the educational cost. Let's say I've got a test to take and my car is on the fritz that morning. There's help with that.
Yeah.
It depends on the school, but those funds could be available.
Right. And I do think what has continued to help TechForce see increasing retention and completion rates for students who have received support from TechForce is because of the network and the community that they're also tied into. So we're not issuing a scholarship and then never having means to connect with that student again, right? They're in our community and they're engaging in other ways as well. So it's not just we mail them a check and that's it, right? There's support and resources to advance their career in the TechForce network that they're a part of. So it is a very, having come from education, I mean, that is a very impressive retention rate, right? And that's why we're also doing research and other, because we want to improve the retention rate of these technicians when they start their job in the field too, right? So we're trying to work it, from a couple of different angles, which I think leads us to the younger you as well, where we're saying, it's about supporting people who've already found their path and then supporting technicians already in the field. And we have a ton of recognition. We have a Tech's Rock program that we do. And you'll learn all this once you connect with us. And then again, we're just trying to let the younger generation know that their desire to work with their hands, their desire to take things apart and put it back together, that's how they're wired to work. And that is a really great thing, right? That is normal, that should be celebrated, and we need to direct them to careers where they can thrive and be successful. And they just so happen to be the careers, that you are all committed to. And so I think that's where that's where this younger you really, I think, hits home.
Now that's a perfect segue to a younger you. Check this out.
You know me. I'm just a younger version of you.
I like to tear stuff apart so I can put it back together.
My hands are my best tools. I learn with my hands.
So what would you tell me if I was the younger you?
Would you tell me to stop fidgeting?
Sit at my desk and try to be like everybody else? Or that there's only one road to success?
Help me show the world that there's a profession right here in my hands.
Help me build my life and my career the way I'm wired to work.
If we stand together, stand for those of us who love working with our hands, we'll not only champion tomorrow's workforce of technicians, but we just may change the way everyone thinks about technical careers.
You figure out how to be you.
Now help me be me.
Man, I love this video. I love this business, and I love what you guys at TechForce are doing. Thank you.
You're welcome. So one of the things I'm also pushing too at the school level too is, because the percentage of females in this industry are in the single digits. So if we could expand that, we could actually definitely make an impact on the technician gap.
So 3% is a number I seem to remember.
3 to 5%, depending what field it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
we're working on that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think even in collision, I think it's even less. So.
Huh.
Did anybody else?
Says, wow. And Ron Osher says, nice job, techforce.org. Thank you guys so much for coming on tonight.
Yeah. As I said, I encourage everyone on this call tonight to join.
Yeah. Thanks.
Any final thoughts you want to leave with us?
Well, I just want to go ahead, Steve.
Join the network.
Join the network. Join the network. Become a TechForce champion. Participate in the survey. Contribute if you're able to the annual campaign. But every time I watch that video, I get the chill bumps when she says, show the world there's a profession right here in my hands. And I just thank you all for the work you're doing in your respective businesses and communities to make a difference. We welcome you and invite you to join in our shared effort and commitment. Paul, thank you so much for having us on tonight. This was great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was great. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. And to those that watch the show every week and support, thank you so much. It means the world to me, and it means the world to the people that you share it with as well, because I get lots of messages from people asking about things that were in the show or how they can connect to others. So I know we're making a difference. To those that watch it on the replay, I thank you as well. It's all important. And TechForce.org. Sign up for your free account now, explore it, and then get your company to become a champion.
And I encourage you. I mean, there's a feedback page too. So if you think there's something that's missing, feel free to send message.
Yeah.
Because always looking to improve the website.
You can make a difference, but only if you get involved. TechForce.org, and don't forget, text 2024 to the number 71777 and find it within your heart to help the students out. So on that note, we hit the 9 o'clock hour. So thanks again. Stay on for after we log off here. I wish everyone a safe and successful next week, and we'll see you next week on Sunday Night Live. Thanks again.